Hey Buns! Welcome to part 2 of our playthrough of Marginal. Let's see, where are we starting today? Last time we read through the prologue and the elevator. Today we're going to read through Rainy World. I can hear the sound of rain. I had no idea what time it was now, but for some reason I woke up. Which is to be expected, if you think about it. To suddenly come to a place like this and not understand what was going on, I just didn't have the nerves to be able to sleep soundly. Ow. I slowly opened my eyes while getting up. Since I had been sleeping directly on the stone floor, my back hurt a bit. I had heard it'd be pitch black, but you can somewhat see. Once your eyes adjusted, you could just barely make out what was around you. Of course, it was just a few meters in front of your eyes. Beyond that, the pitch blackness spread out wide. I guess it's like she said, if I were in a place far from here and it suddenly became dark, I might have been at a loss. And also, if there were no other place with a roof besides here, then it would mean no matter where you went, you would be continuously rained on. Thinking about that, my eyes drifted to the bench. Oh, you were awake too? What's wrong? Even for my question, there wasn't any real reply. In the dark, she was just quietly looking at me. No, she seemed to be glaring at me. Eventually, she opened her mouth. You, why don't you go back? Eh? Not just her voice and way of speaking, even her aura had clearly changed. You're Rain, right? Is there anyone else? She spat those words out without expression. For an instant, I thought she might have been a different person, but that wasn't possible. No matter how you looked, she appeared exactly the same. And more than anything else, I had heard that there wasn't anyone else around. More importantly, there's no point in staying in a place like this. No point? What do you mean? I mean what I say, to hurry up and return to your homeworld. Blandly declaring that, she pointed outside to the falling rain. Well, I was planning on going back eventually, but I had no intention of going back in the dark while it was raining. I was supposed to have about 3 days worth of time. Well, if I start wanting to go back, I'll go back. Your parents or family will worry. Unfortunately, there isn't anyone to worry about me. Well, then it's bothering me, so hurry up and leave. It is? At those words, Nain gave a small nod. No, this wasn't Nain. They looked the same, but the inside, the personality was very different. If I had to give her a name, it would probably be Rain. During the day, when I had said I would stay, she had been so happy. It was, in a way, the reaction of a different person. But this might be an opportunity. During the day, no matter what questions I asked, nothing would get settled. But with her now, I had a feeling I could get a clear answer from her. Well, I can go back immediately, but in return, can you tell me about this place? Fine, if that will make you leave, that is. Yeah, I get it. Sooner or later, it was inevitable that I would be going back. Then at least it wouldn't be a big delay if I had her answer the questions I had since coming here. Well, it was probably meaningless to know these things, but they were still bothering me even so. Then first, just what is this world? Who knows? Probably no one knows the real answer. Then at least let me hear what you think it is. If nothing else, she's been here longer than I have. And from how she had spoken earlier, she had seen a number of people come here. To speak figuratively, this is a timeout room. Timeout room? That was an unexpected answer. Who? When? For what? What should I be sorry for to begin with? How would I know about that? However, this world has a population of 1 because it's a room for taking a time out. A population of 1? Then what about me? With me here right now, that makes 2. You still don't get it. I'm saying that you're getting in the way. Getting in the way? I can understand the concept of being put in timeout. I had hated reality that much, after all. But I didn't think I would be told I was getting in the way. Then, if I were to not go back, what happens? Just now you said that the limit is 1 person. Then what would happen if I didn't go back? Would it forever be 2 people here? No, then you'll be forcibly sent back. Forcibly? What does that mean? Again, it means what I say. You'll just automatically be sent back. Ultimately, there being 2 people here is something like a tiny exemption period. I see. There's that kind of rule in effect. Certainly, even in a place like this, there would be a huge difference between spending it with someone and alone. So hurry up and go back, since you're going to be forced back anyway. Muttering somewhat uncomfortably, Rain looked at me. Come to think of it, during the day she had also said there was a time limit of 3 days before going back. So essentially, if I didn't go back on my own, once that time is up, I'll be sent back. But I had no idea what I should be reflecting on. If spending time alone in a place like this were to be a punishment, then I could understand her way of saying it. Well, the reasoning fits, and I understand it. However, it was a bit hard to take that explanation as the full truth. Since coming here suddenly, too many things have happened for me to allow that. If anything, right now, after this discussion, still nothing is registering. It all somewhere still felt like things happening in a dream. Did you know? 1,000 years ago, the Earth was the center of the universe. What? Suddenly, she started to talk about random things. They believed that at the end of the flat ocean, a great waterfall flowed. Just 100 years ago, they even thought of viruses and bacteria as the work of unseen demons. What are you trying to say? That it simply isn't common knowledge to anyone that this world exists, including you, up until yesterday. I knew what she wanted to say. Even if it surpassed the realm of comprehension, there were things that existed. There was no point denying them. It might be that I should just accept it. Right now, I am here, in this place she calls a timeout room. But, you know, even if that were true, I still don't feel like going back. Even if you'll wind up being forced back? Yeah, if that's the case, I can worry even less and stay here. If I didn't go back on my own, then I would be sent back. That made things easy. There was no worry about missing the chance to return. Plus, even though I still didn't know much about living here, there is a chance that the living in this world might be much better than the real world. I was that tired of that world. If that were the case, I'd want to be here forever. Hey, is there a way to not get sent back? What? I mean, is there a way to stay here forever? There isn't. Flatly, that was all she replied with. I see. I had thought that staying here forever also seemed good. Well, fine. It will just be 3 days after all. And everyone says that in the beginning. With those words, she once again lay down on the bench. It seemed that no matter what I said to her, I wouldn't be getting any more replies. 2 days. It's morning already? Waking to the sound of rain, I cracked my eyes open. Apparently at some point last night I fell asleep. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Before my eyes was the cheerfully grinning girl. Already the aura she had last night wasn't there, and I was on the edge of doubting whether they were the same person. Well, about that thing that happened last night. Yes? What are you asking about? No, see, last night... I'm sorry. It was hard to sleep directly on the floor, right? So today I'll sleep on the bottom. The girl said that, seeming a little sorry. I didn't get the feeling that she was particularly pretending not to know or trying to trick me. It felt very normal and natural. So at night she's different? No, physically speaking, they were definitely the same person. However, the inside, the personality, might be better considered a different person. If I had to give them names, the innocent child was Rain, while the nighttime one was Reen. Well, shall we go? Hey, go? I'm still not going back, you know. No, not that. This here, this. Saying that, she pointed at the bench, and around it the number of familiar artifacts. Remember yesterday? I talked about it before we went to sleep. Eh? Now that you... I had definitely asked questions about the bench and bus stops. Why was it that everywhere else had only aged stonework, but this spot had modern plastic items? Well, it's very close, so come with me, please. Hey, wait! Once again, as if she didn't hear me, Rain happily dashed outside. Unlike last night, she seemed restless, innocent, like whatever she was doing seemed fun. But, as if she thought of something, she once again turned back. I was about to forget. If you'd like, please use this. Saying that, she handed me an umbrella, or apparently the remains of one. Are you saying to use it? Yes, it looks pretty bad, but it can protect from the rain just a little bit. But really, it clearly had a few panels broken, so you couldn't really count on it to stop the rain. And as far as I could see, it was the only one, meaning if I were to use it, she would get wet. I'm used to it. Yesterday you let me use the bench, so please don't mind. With just that, she once again flew outside. Her figure splashing without an umbrella was simply cute. Really, a big difference compared to at night. There were many things I didn't know about her, but she might not be a bad child. While watching her happily splashing in the puddles with just one shoe, I had that thought. But this rain just keeps coming. It wasn't large drops like in a sudden evening shower, nor was it cold, freezing rain. If I had to describe it, it was like the misty rain that fell during the rainy season, and the remains of the umbrella I was lent before. As expected, I didn't feel right using it alone, so we used it together. Well, even if a single person were using it, it didn't look like it would do very much, sorry to say. So, how about it? You're not getting wet from the rain, right? I guess. Right? For some reason, rain straightened proudly. Honestly, I didn't think it made much difference whether we used the umbrella or not, but when asked with such a happy smile, I couldn't do anything but nod. But really, coming here, it's been just rain the whole time. Hey, does the sky clear up sometimes? No, it's always raining. Always? At least since I've come here. No, since before I've come here, I don't think this rain has ever stopped. I see. An unending rain, eh? For some reason, it felt well suited to the place's mood. Last night, she had called this place a timeout room. I think I understand why. To be in a place like this and have rain falling constantly, anyone would become depressed. I didn't understand what it took to come. To become placed here. But after a while, a person might want to go back to the real world. But then, when did you come here? Quite a long time ago. A long time ago? Exactly how long ago? I'm sorry, I don't really know. When she said that, her expression appeared just a bit lonely. But, well, that's natural, I guess. Even if time in the real world was moving, here it was stopped. Being here, there wasn't a way to know the flow of time. While looking at my stopped wristwatch, I nodded. And I also thought about yesterday for an instant. That perhaps this child had been in this place since a long, long time ago. I recalled that question I had before. Well, she knew what an elevator and other modern things were, so she couldn't possibly have been here that long. Ah, you can see it soon. Saying that, she pointed. In that direction, mixed with the sound of the rain, you could hear the sound of something like waves. An ocean? No, a river? In a world where worn flagstones stretched forever, there was suddenly a river before our eyes. However, for a river it was so big that you couldn't see the far shore, nor its source or destination. You just couldn't see where it went off to. And there, if you looked closely at the water's edge, you could see a number of familiar things washed ashore. Is that a TV? And next to it, a vending machine? However, everything was broken. On top of that, they were soaked in water, so you could only call them garbage. Besides which, there wasn't any electricity nor were there outlets, so even if they weren't broken, they'd be useless. Looking at other things, you could see that half were already buried in sand. Sometimes it floats here, like this. I see. That explains the mystery of the bench. It had been a mystery as to why modern things only existed back there, and apparently she had brought things back from this place. And she said it floats here, but it seemed more accurate to say that they wash up here. Well, even if they've all become broken pieces of garbage, at least they're all modern things. They were all familiar things that I had regularly seen up until just yesterday. Hey, is that? Before I processed what she said, she dashed over to the waves. Thinking that she may have found something important, I rushed over to see. What? I'm so happy! It's been a long time since I could read what happens next. What? Jump? At her feet, I saw a familiar collection of manga, and it was one that had just been recently sold, a relatively new issue. For one issue to come after another, it's super rare. Today, I'm gonna need to carry it back carefully so I don't ruin it. With a bit of a serious face, the girl picked up the soaked jump. Things like that could come floating down? I couldn't help but be somewhat impressed. After that, we walked along the water's edge, looking to see if there was anything that stood out. From what the girl said, there wasn't all that much that washed up. And of course, there wasn't any way to tell what would arrive. Basically, most things didn't even retain their original shapes. On top of that, if you left something for a few days, it would drift off somewhere else. And so, when she finds something useful, she takes it back to that place. By the way, shoes seem rare. Ah yes, books come relatively often, but clothing items or anything you put on your body come only rarely. All things considered, the unbalance was fascinating. Ooh, just one shoe? It's a little embarrassing. Later, we strolled along the water's edge before going back. Along the way, we found a Nissan catalog and Rain was super happy about it. That part of her seemed to be the same as any other girl. Once again, we returned to that place. Oh, the cereal stopped at some point. I looked over at her. She was holding the weekly manga we'd picked up earlier. What a shame. I was looking forward to the ending. Well, there's nothing you can do. It's not like one will come every week. From what she told me before, if you were lucky they'd come one after another, but they otherwise might not come for a few months. And plus, it's really hard to hold on to the concept of time here. At the least, each day passed with a night and a day. But weeks, months, years? You need to create a calendar and check it without fail every day. So probably the only way to judge large periods of time was to use the things that flowed here. As for smaller time periods like hours, I just had no idea. There wasn't anything like a clock and the sky didn't seem to change. I had a feeling it was around noon. Of course, that was just my gut feeling and I couldn't tell anything besides that. Is something wrong? No, I'm just wondering what time it is. Wait here a bit, I'll go take a look. Saying that, Rain hopped outside. And then after she gazed at the sky for a while. It's maybe 2 in the afternoon. You can tell from looking at the sky? Yes, it might seem exactly the same, but there's actually just a tiny bit of difference. That reminds me that yesterday she said the night was coming. Well, it's still just an estimate. If anything, there's no way to check if that time is correct or not. Well, that's true. In thinking about it, I'd gone more than a day without eating and I wasn't hungry at all. That made judging the passage of time even more difficult. Ah, that's right. Shall I give you a very nice thing? Nice thing? What's that? You'll see. Saying that, she started rummaging through the small cardboard box next to the bus stop towards the rear. Hey, I don't know what you're up to, but I don't need any drenched manga. Oh, come on, it's nothing like that. After waiting a bit, she came back with a small tin. Ta-da! Sakuma drops! Oh, No, I haven't had those in ages. Heck, I didn't even know they still made these. I remember eating them all the time when I was small. Food items drifting here are ultra rare. And even when you occasionally find them, they're all soaked and slimy. Well, there's nothing you can do about that. So, you need to take your time and enjoy it, because we eat this only when there is something to celebrate. Saying that, she happily rattled the can. She probably was imitating how lotteries were drawn, though that smug face she was making was pretty amusing. Ah, and even if the bad one comes out, don't get upset, okay? I know, I know. Then she opened the tin and tilted it towards my palm. A single candy rolled out. It was, how do you say, expected? Or even cliche? That white one. Of course it came out, that bad white one. Wow, why did the best one? How nice, how nice! Hey, wait a minute, white's always the bad one, everyone knows that. What are you saying? White's the best one. White's #1! I don't get it. Well, I get that you like the white one. I looked around at the rain as it continued to fall. No, at the rain that would never end. While looking at the sky, the two of us put the candy in our mouths. In the end, I wound up trading my white with the grape she got. The grape flavor spreading in my mouth felt extra sweet. You know, it's a pretty strange feeling. Yes, because here you never get hungry. You don't have to eat, never get sick, don't age, and can't even die. At night, Nane had sarcastically said it was a timeout room, but depending on how you thought about it, you might be able to see it as heaven. This might just be pretty amazing. No, wonderful even. Wonderful? Well, think about it. Out in the real world, everyone's working so hard to eat. And there's sickness, death, and many worries too, I'll bet. Ah yes, that's true. But I think that it also feels a bit lonely. Lonely? Why? Well, I don't like to be hungry. But maybe exactly because of that, when you eat delicious food, you're happy. She was speaking somewhat gravely. Since she was usually so bright and cheerful, that sight left a strong impression. Oh, that was actually pretty fast. Well, that was The Rainy World. I'm surprised that they had like a copy of Shonen Jump just flowing down the river. Like, and it was still readable. That was a surprise. But, well, I hope you enjoyed the reading for part 2 of our playthrough. Next week we'll read about the timeout room. The next week we'll be playing with water, and then it'll be new content for both me and for the buns that watched me play this for a little bit on stream. So, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you leave a comment, I'll be sure to respond. And make sure you subscribe for more videos every Sunday. Alright, bye buns! Have a good day!